As many of you know, I have been out of town for a few days, visiting my parents for my mother's birthday. While I was gone, a lot of news events occurred that affect your small business. Now, I really could have made a video during this time, but I really wanted to reflect upon these current events and really think about what I wanted to say to everyone. There has also been some essential news regarding the upcoming stimulus you should be aware of. Still, before I get to that, honestly, I'm pretty disappointed and disgusted with many people on social media throughout this country. On my flight down to Florida on Friday, I read news articles about the president and his positive COVID test results, and I saw the pure hatred from people on social media. This divisiveness in America has just gone too far, and I think both parties, the left and the right, are to blame. Whatever happened to having a spirited debate about someone's politics, then going out for a few drinks and a few laughs together? Why must everything be so polarizing? Why must we hate someone so much we wish painful death and harm to someone just because they believe differently than we do? Whatever happened to tolerance and acceptance of someone that thinks, acts, looks, or is just a little different than us? We should debate things on the merits of policy decisions and not stoop to personal political attacks. The social media posts that I saw, which I am not going to share here because most of them are so vile they do not even deserve to be repeated. These posts were, well, simply put, they were disgusting. Then, the other part of me was so thankful that humanity does still exist. A fellow YouTuber and friend of mine, Jason, summed it up pretty well.
The biggest emotion I felt all morning waking up to the news that our president and the first lady had been diagnosed with a disease that most survive, but at his age could kill him, was startling. And I wondered, how would we handle it as a people? Would we come together? Would we set aside our political differences? Would we understand the severity of this moment? And then I went to Twitter and I saw the president announce that he tested positive along with the first lady. And then I decided to read the comments. It's a fucking disgrace. As a people, as a humanity, and as a social media platform that tolerates that, it's a fucking disgrace. I don't care if you're President Trump, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, go on and up and down the line. When we get to a point when 2/3 of the fucking tweets, or I hope you die, or karma's a bitch, or why don't you slug some of that Clorox you were talking about? I mean, it's just fucking disgraceful.
See, the thing is, I'm pretty sure that Jason and I have different core political ideologies. But I can honestly say that both of us approach these subjects from our heart. And we both want what is right for America. Neither one of us want to harm someone just because that we disagree with their politics. Why can't more people just respect others like this? Am I right? Am I wrong? Why don't you comment down below and tell me what you think? Okay, I've said my piece. Now let's get on to how the president's COVID positive test, admission to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland, and his subsequent release back home to the White House, and his statements about no stimulus until after the election. How all this adds up and what you need to know. All this and more in today's video. Hello and welcome to Stephen Carlson Show. I'm Stephen Carlson. I'm a tech entrepreneur, real estate investor, author, YouTuber, and volunteer paramedic. As I'm sure you already know, even before starting this video, President Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, along with many White House staff, military and political advisors have all tested positive for COVID-19 starting last week, with new members testing positive daily. As I predicted in Friday's early morning video, the stock market took a quick dive, and anyone that used that moment as a buying opportunity was able to pick up some stocks on a discount. By the end of Friday's trading day, the market had mostly reversed the massive losses from earlier in the day and closed only slightly lower. Pre-market trading showed positive throughout the weekend and into and through most of Monday, and even into Tuesday morning, as medical reports from the physicians treating the president were released, mostly calming the markets.
Uncharted territory when it comes to a patient that received the therapies he has so early in the course. So we're looking to this weekend, if we can get through to Monday with him remaining the same or improving, better yet, then we will all take that final deep sigh relief. But as I said, 24/7 world-class medical care surrounding him down there. We're not going to miss anything that we would have caught up here.
Yes, there were some contradictory statements that came out, but that's really not critical to today's discussion. In the end, by Tuesday afternoon, it was reported that the president was feeling well enough to return home to the White House. As his physicians reported, the president will still be cared for in the White House medical unit, but in their words, they are cautiously optimistic about his recovery. Once again, putting politics aside and just a human being caring for another human's well-being, this is excellent news, and I wish him a speedy recovery. How does this affect business, the nationwide shutdown, and even the possibility of a stimulus package? Well, this is where things get a little murky, and sadly, the ugly head of politics creeps back into the narrative. President Trump released a video shortly after returning to the White House on his views of COVID and the current political situation. As much as I would love to share that video with you and comment on the positives and negatives of his video, the truths and the scientifically questionable statements, the video is so polarizing that I do not want to risk having YouTube pull my video offline just for showing it. So if you guys want to see it, go search for it on Google. It's out there. While encouraging all to follow CDC guidelines, I feel, in my opinion, if President Trump does fully recover from this illness, more Americans will feel safe about reopening the country and going back to some semblance of normalcy. Will that view be justified, or is it just an illusion of safety? Well, that's for the doctors to decide. And remember, my lawyers that I have chained up in my basement, they want me to make it clear that I am not a doctor, I'm just some random dude on the internet. But I do feel that finally this will provide enough confidence that people will demand that their country is reopened, with the knowledge that if they become sick, the medical system can most likely treat them. Once again, I'm not giving medical advice, just standing back and surmising what people will think. And it's that, attempting to predict what humans will think and what they will do over the coming months, is what makes you an entrepreneur. And I think this will improve the economy, allowing restaurants, small businesses, and large businesses alike to be able to reopen to full occupancy, as long as a second wave of COVID does not hit, and as long as people respect the CDC's recommendations for face coverings when appropriate and social distancing whenever possible. This now brings me to the possibility of a stimulus package before the election. As I said last week, if a package was not agreed upon by both Republican and Democrats by October 2nd, the chances of a stimulus package before the elections, well, it's pretty much slim to none. Then last night, Tuesday, October 7th, the president announced that he was pulling his advisors out of the negotiations and blaming Nancy Pelosi for refusing to negotiate in good faith. Personally, I think both sides are just screwing this up royally, and neither side really wants a deal. I have said this countless times in previous videos. There is zero reason why this needs to be one massive bill for X trillions of dollars. Over the past 6 months, they could have very easily passed a dozen or so smaller and much more targeted bills covering the actual needs of people that both parties actually agree with, like direct payment stimulus checks to all tax-paying Americans, a second round of PPP funding to help keep Americans employed, $10,000 EIDL grants for all small businesses, none of this $1,000 per employee BS that Jovita has pushed, and access to low-interest, long-term loans for businesses to cover expenses that were not covered in the grants. I've said it countless times that there is straightforward and easy ways to allocate the funds to businesses. Just simply take the 2019 tax returns of every business, divide it by 12, and find out the average amount that that business makes every month. Then, for each month during this pandemic shutdown, make a single direct deposit to the business checking account for that month's revenues. Thus, Americans nationwide would have continued to receive paychecks as long as they were employed prior to the pandemic, of course. Businesses would have been able to stay afloat instead of shutting down like many of them were forced to do. And sadly, many will never reopen and are lost forever. Maybe Trump's statements are just a negotiating tactic to force Pelosi to come down on the dollar amount to something that the Republicans will support. But I'm not really sure if this is going to work or not. The issue right now is the Democrats feel that they will win the presidency in November. And on the other hand, the Republicans think they're going to win and keep Trump in office. So both parties are basically at an impasse, as they know that if they can control the White House and either the House or the Senate, then that party will be able to push precisely what they want in the next stimulus package. Sadly, there's really little to be gained politically by either side if they pass a stimulus that's not exactly their ideal plan. Think of it this way. If you were already planning on voting for Biden, would you stop voting for him just because Pelosi drug her feet on stimulus? Or if you were in the other camp and you plan on voting for Trump, would you switch sides and vote against him because the Republicans failed to get stimulus? Most likely not. And the politicians know that. America is so polarized right now, with people only seeing what they want to see in the nation. And if you are just as sick of the politics, the right and the left, as I am, please check out my book, America Hijacked, where I show 50 plus years of liars, cheats, and thieves from both political parties. By purchasing my book using the link down below, you help to support this channel, and it's something I really appreciate. Also, don't forget, there's only a few more days to get your 2 free stocks from Webull. Check out the link below. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure you click like and subscribe. Doing so really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I appreciate it. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next one.